really do like Amber Heard as Carla.
Ah,
I think she's
and
beautiful.
Johnny Depp is Peter?
No. Yeah, to show his two personalities, right?
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman,
And if you were just
Logan
trying to
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators. This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a tangled tale of love, betrayal, and redemption with a terrific author, one of my favorite writers, one of my favorite guests. Her name is L McCall, and she has penned a book you are going to love. It is a gripping novel called AMISS 2. This emotionally charged sequel follows Paul and Carla as they struggle to rebuild their relationship after trauma, betrayal, and the lingering shadow of Paul's twin brother, Peter. With unexpected twists, past secrets, and future uncertainty, AMISS 2 is a powerful story of resilience and second chances that fans of contemporary romance and drama won't want to miss. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us once again here today on Spotlight. We ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below the interview. Linda, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for having me. That was a great introduction. I
Well,
loved it.
it's well deserved. The books are great,
Oh,
very,
thank you.
very riveting, very, very real,
Mhm,
and a great escape. You know, I
mhm,
feel they're a great escape as well. Let's start with AMISS to give a brief overview before we
mhm.
get to AMISS 2, because this is part of a trilogy, and we're going to be able to talk about AMISS, AMISS 2, and AMISS 3 today. Let's talk about AMISS. Let's set up the story for the folks at home.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll even show the books, I guess, as I'm talking about each one.
Sure.
This is the first one,
Yep.
and this is, how they all met when they were younger. Um, the young woman who is, pretty much the main character, Carla, they met while she was in high school, and she met the two twin brothers along her, you know, in town, and it took on a story of its own. They fell in love, and then the brother didn't like too much of what was happening. He felt left out, and he was doing his own thing in the music world, but it wasn't panning out. And he enjoyed seeing his brother's life take off and be very successful. So he did try to emulate him and just couldn't get it together. And he got kind of crazy, like so insanely jealous that he wanted his life. And that's what he ended up doing, trying to take over his life. And he did. And he took over, being the husband. And Carla wasn't aware because they're identical twins and they were the same pretty much in every way, which is kind of hard to believe. But there is there's a lot of things and turns and twists that I think that people can relate to.
Mhm.
And that's why I always call my books relatable, because they can understand and feel what I'm trying to express. And maybe they've gone through that themselves in, some time of their life. And I just try to make them a page turner,
Yeah.
to keep going and to keep wanting more.
Yeah.
And it's funny because after I did the book two, which is this one,
Mhm. Yep.
on how they kind of got over what happened in the first book, because it really drove them apart. And then they didn't know who the other one was, as per Carla not knowing that Peter was acting as Paul, and Paul was somewhere off with amnesia. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of funny. It sounds like a soap opera now that I'm saying it. But, I mean, these things do happen when people do get amnesia for whatever reason. Life happens, and things take on their turns, and each one was being portrayed and going through what they were going through, and then to find out what happened to one another and not happy about it, of course not, because he's finding out that she was with him, his brother rather. And it just took on like their lives and how they try to kind of find each other again, because they still loved each other deep down. But of course, feelings and emotions get involved, and you have to deal. But after getting back together in AMISS 2, after all that drama, something else popped up and came back to haunt them from the past with Peter. So, it's never a dull moment, let's put it that way. And going on with the next one, AMISS 3, I had to, oh my goodness, what is that? With AMISS 3, it continues with, here, I'll show that one. This just came out. This actually just came out like Monday.
Wonderful.
I got my copy.
Hot off the presses, as we like to say. Yeah.
Yes, literally. But I mean, what is going on and what happened in 2 that carries on into AMISS 3 is kind of mind-boggling, because how did this happen? How did it get to that point? And then she's followed by her stalker that she met in the second book, and it's kind of crazy, but I try to keep it interesting. Like I said, I love a page turner, not put the book down, and that's what I try to create. Short and sweet. They're not 300 pages. They're about 100 pages each. And I like to write with a flow, so it's not full of fluff and everything, even though I do try to paint a picture. I just like to get to the point, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, the books are great. They do move along. And I think the whole intrigue about the identical twins is great. I don't know if you've seen the 5th season of You yet, but they're identical twins in that. They're female, not male. So they didn't fully steal your idea, but they do switch back and forth. And it makes for some really cool, interesting plot twists, just like in your book.
And what is that called?
Well.
What was that?
You. It's on Netflix. YOU. Yep.
YOU. Okay, I'll have to.
So you'll have to watch that, season 5. Speaking of Netflix, why not a series of films on Netflix for AMISS 2 and AMISS 3? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I would love that to happen. I would love someone to say, hey, we'd like to do this with you, and that would be terrific, actually. And the funny thing is, there has been some interest, and I went ahead with a screenwriter. I think I had mentioned it in the last interview. Joyce, she's phenomenal. I love her. She is not only such a great screenwriter, she is a really great person, and we did the screenplay together for AMISS 1. I did it, and then she kind of enhanced it for me. We worked together, many phone sessions, and we finished that. And then on AMISS 2, we also did a screenplay for that. So that's done. And now she's working with me on the both first one and second one, director's cuts, which are called Hollywood treatments. So, you do the camera angles, what kind of rooms they are, day and night. It's pretty much like the screenplay, but a little bit shorter.
Right.
But, you have to put, you probably know. Yeah. So, it's more of a detail type. And
That's
I'm
great. Well,
sorry.
that's exciting. That's exciting stuff that you're working on that, especially with AI nowadays. Soon you'll be able to
Mm.
make your film without leaving your desktop. If I don't know if you've seen some of the latest Google
I'm not,
AI video, it's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, I do have a trailer on 1 and 2, but I don't have one on 3. I'm working on that now.
Okay.
And we're going to have to work on a director's cut for number 3 now, because this is what I'm told they're requiring,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
if they're going to move ahead with me,
Yeah.
as per my literary agent. So, to do a movie or a series, even 3-year series for each book,
Hmm.
or a movie just, to continue it,
Yeah.
because they could make definitely like a 2-3 hour movie out of it.
Oh, sure.
you know?
Sure. Absolutely. Or a series. I mean, it could be a multi-season series too,
Right,
because
right.
they tend to flesh things out more in the series. So that'd be
Hmm.
great as well. So
Hmm.
that's wonderful. 3 books on this. The latest, part 3, is out now.
Hmm.
And what's it been like writing them? I know, if, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind them and the writing process.
Well, in the beginning, I I think I had mentioned to you this dream. I had it, it started kind of with a dream,
Mm.
and it kind of took on a life of its own. And with that, as I sat and started writing, I put it aside, then went back to it, and put it aside, went back to it, and then life happens, and then I went
Yeah.
back to it, and then I just, I said, this is kind of getting interesting. I'm going to just keep going with it and not put it down again. So that's what I did, and I finished the first book.
Mm.
And then after the way it finished, even though they were back together and everything seemed okay, I started the second book because everything really was not okay because of what
Mhm.
happened in the middle of the first book,
Right.
them finding out what really happened, and then having to go to counseling and, going through all of that. I feel like I'm giving everything away, but, you
I
know,
think it's in bits and pieces. I think they'd have to read the books to put everything
yeah.
into context. Yeah.
And yeah, and how it progressed and when, but I'm saying that, in doing that, I have like a way of writing, and once I start, and it just keeps going. And when I get tired, I stop, because then
Yeah.
I know I'm babbling. It's like now.
Well, some people call it babbling, other people call it eloquence. When you have a lot of words, they just flow, and that's good. When you're a writer, you want the words to flow.
Right.
So these 3 books, have you written other books besides these 3?
Oh gosh. Yes.
That's what I thought. You were pretty prolific.
Yeah. Actually, I just did this one. Now, this is my maiden name.
Okay.
Nobody can pronounce my married name, Kazetic. All right. So I do it under Manning. This is the poems book. I have another one, getting that one ready. And I have children's books.
Yeah, that's right. Meet Louie and Lucy,
And then,
Louie and Lucy, and Leo
yeah.
and Cleo.
See, this time I
At
had them
first
ready.
comes Louie and Lucy, then comes Leo and Cleo, right? That's just how it
Right.
works. Yeah.
And yeah. And then have guests
And have
over.
guests over. This is a
And
great series.
yeah.
Animation's so cute.
And these
Make
are,
Mama crazy, that's for sure.
right. And then,
And meet Grandma and Grandpa.
yep.
Very cool.
And then I did this one years ago, and it
Ants in
was
my bed.
redone.
Nobody wants that.
No, but this is a really good one. This is one of my favorites, actually.
That'll remind kids not to eat in their beds, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to be taken away.
Amazing. Amazing. Tell us about the Lucy, was it Lou and Lucy? Or
Louie and
Louie and
Lucy.
Lucy?
Yes.
Tell us
Um,
about that series.
yeah, I started with that before Lion King, because everybody's like, oh, it looks like Lion King. And trust me, I started it way before, because I have 4 kids, and I
Right.
always told them stories. I always made up stories at nighttime. We didn't read a lot of books, but that's because I made up stories as I went. And I made up one about Fuzz the bear. And then I started thinking, I really like lions and I think they're cute. Not everybody, can relate to that. But however, I thought, here I'm going with twins again. And it's a brother and sister. They get into all kinds of trouble.
Hmm.
And, in the book, the illustrations are really nice.
They're great. Who did the illustrations for you?
I had a company do them. I did the first one. This is
Hmm.
what I told them I wanted. I
Gotcha.
wanted them to look like. I
Yep.
mean, I am a Disney fan, but when the Lion King came out, I was like kind of blown away. But yeah, they kind of look like they could be,
Yours was first. Maybe
Disney.
you got a little lawsuit there against Disney. I don't know.
Disney is actually, an idol. But at the end of each book, which is very cute, I think,
Mhm.
is questions
What kind of questions you got there?
for the children. Did Louie and Lucy fight over Mama for their attention? Either yes or no. And this is like for 4 or 5-year-olds.
Right, right. It's some thought questions
Yeah,
to get their
yeah.
critical thinking skills
To see
involved.
if they were paying attention.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful. So that's fun. That's fun. And do you have kids that you test these or little baby kids like in the family that you test these books on?
I have grandchildren, nieces and nephews, grandnieces and grandnephews, I should say. And yeah, they actually like them. And I never marketed them so much.
Right.
So I've been more focused on doing the
The
adult
AMISS series.
now. The
Yeah.
AMISS. I really wanted to get that third one in.
Yeah. Well,
And
you got it. So we're glad that happened.
thank you.
Carla, Paul, and Peter, are they modeled at all after real people or vaguely after real people? Tell us a little bit about
That's a
how they
great
came about.
question. Actually, after a bunch of people, I mean, I take like personalities from all kinds of people, all kinds of, walks of life, but people who I've encountered or know,
Mhm.
I'm trying not to say, so much like I did the last time. Um, yeah, I mean, Carla, I took from me a little bit, but
Mhm.
I not how can I say thin. I mean, I used to be very thin,
Yeah.
but yeah, like some of her personality is from me, some of it is from someone else, some of her likes are from me, and because this way I can relate to explaining them.
Mhm.
But like Peter and Paul, it's just life. It's just
Yeah.
coming across people who you interact with, or
Right.
just
Yeah, you
basically,
borrow a little bit here, a little bit
yeah,
there. There was this guy I knew, he did this thing that was really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of mold together characters from
Hmm.
bits and pieces of people you know, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, thank you.
Where are the stories set? What's the locale?
I actually am from the North Shore of Long Island,
Hmm.
and it's a beautiful area. I love New York, and I kind of started it in Cold Spring Harbor, and it also has Woodbury in it, Syosset, Bethpage, Plainview. These are all our local towns. And I thought that, people would get a kick out of seeing those names in the book. And I'm trying to think, Jericho was another one, Huntington, another,
So all based pretty much on Long Island, some of the
on the
nice
North
towns.
Shore.
Huntington's a beautiful town, as you said,
Yeah.
Jericho, all the others.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, it's a great area
Yeah.
and a
Again,
lot of
relatable.
absolutely, absolutely. And you got to write what you know. You know Long
Right,
Island,
right.
so write Long Island, right?
I think it's safer to write what you know, right?
Exactly,
'Cause-
exactly. So now that you're done with a miss,
mhm.
is a miss four brewing in there? I mean, you're done with the miss three. Is a miss four brewing in there, or what's going to happen
Well, the
to?
way I ended a Miss Three,
There's no
there,
coming back from it.
there has to be a four.
Well, there has to be a four.
There has to be.
Okay,
Yes, and I
gotcha.
started with that, but I'm hoping they're not going to hold me up now because of that.
Right.
because I said to my agent, I said, don't mention that I have 4 coming, because then they're gonna want to wait for it.
That's funny. That's funny. That's great. So where do you think 4 will take Carla, Peter, and Paul?
This one, the way 3 ended, oh my gosh. And I keep telling everybody it ended, really what they thought was coming, what they kind of saw was coming, came and
Mhm.
happened. And now we have to explain it in 4. Uh, and it's a doozy. Let's put it that way. That's what I
Yeah.
keep calling it. It's a doozy in 3. Yeah. And yeah, I just, I like the way it flowed. Sometimes I can have like a moment of like what they call what is
Inspiration
no, not even the opposite. When you
of
kind of
a writer's block.
writer's block. And
Yeah.
with the third one, I did have kind of a writer's block.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I think it was maybe July 4th weekend of last year. I just had like all of a sudden, it's like I was on a roll. And
Mm.
when that happens, I just have to do that, you know. So
Right.
um yeah, mostly on holiday weekends that happens, I found.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Let me ask you this. Who would play Carla? Who would play Peter? Peter probably have to be played by the same actor or
Yes. Yeah.
Paul. Um, who's your casting choices for this film or
Well,
TV series?
I really do like Amber Heard as Carla.
Ah,
I think she's
and
beautiful.
Johnny Depp is Peter?
No. Yeah, to show his 2 personalities, right? No, I mean I love him too, but no, I don't think that would work. But I like also Reese Witherspoon's daughter. I
Hmm.
think I mentioned that the last time. She's beautiful. And I don't know, Kriana, what was it, Serena? I forgot her last name.
Sienna Miller?
No.
No.
Um, I have a whole list. I really do. I spent like 2 days just doing actors.
Your virtual casting short list of actors, right?
Short list. It's
Hmm.
actually a very long
Long
list.
list. Okay. Sounds great.
And
So who would you cast as Peter Paul? Do you remember that at all?
um, there were a few. I was thinking about Ian Somerhalder,
Hmm.
saying that right. I should get on that. I should really know their names. But his, I guess, style, black hair, blue eyes, she was captured by his blue eyes. And I'm trying to think, there are a few names I had, and I can even read them off here. I sent them, like I said, to my agent, which helps give her a vision.
Yep.
And
Do you
actually,
write sometimes with an actor in mind because it kind of helps you
no,
formulate the character? No?
no, I come
Oh.
up with my own vision of who I see.
And then you find
And
an actor to fill the
yeah,
role afterwards.
actually, the one who is Mo, I came up with Harvey Keitel.
Okay. I could
Yeah,
see that.
he's
Yeah.
the detective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
He is great. He is
And
great.
yeah, I know actors' faces, but I don't know their
Yeah.
names.
Well,
So if you
especially
had
now,
my
because
name,
there's so much media out there, there's
mhm,
so many channels. Trying to keep it all
mhm.
straight is nearly impossible. Nearly
I know.
impossible. Yeah.
Excuse me
So,
looking down, but I just wanted to get a few more names for you
mhm.
because I just sent them off to my screenwriter, and she was kind of, put the director's cut into play. So she wanted to put the, names together. And let's see. No, not him. Oh, here's one. Okay. Colton Haynes. I don't
Okay.
know if you know him.
Name sounds familiar, but like I said, there's so
Uh,
many actors out there nowadays.
and then Logan Lerman.
Okay, yep, I know him. We share a name, so I have to know him.
Oh, okay. That's funny. and Tyler Harlow. He was a
Yep,
top
and I
pick.
know him as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Awesome. So
then
that'd
there
be
was
great.
Serena Swan. That was the other one
Hmm.
for Carla. I thought she was great. And Melissa Benoist. I,
Yep.
I think she would make a great. I don't know if you could see that.
Awesome. It's not really kind of showing. Yep, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, she's a beautiful woman, so any
Yeah.
part she's in, I'll be there to watch it. That's for
Yeah. A little
sure.
green-eyed.
That's great. That's great. Is there a lesson in the books? Is it just for fun? Is it just an adventure? Or is there like a little message in there for readers?
Well, I feel that it's kind of a message that no matter what hard times you come up on, you try to work on them together to find a solution to either make it or break it. And if you really, care about each other and love each other, that you would want to make it work.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is not an easy thing, but I always believe in giving people second, maybe even third chances. But after that, as Leo, forget it. You're off my list.
That's
Leos are
funny.
tough.
Yeah,
We go silent when we get upset.
that's
But,
funny. That's funny.
yeah. So, but then again, it's, whether it's a lesson learned or it's relatable to somebody who has been in a situation as such that, you kind of learn that, hey, I'm not the only one that goes through stuff like this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Do you think brothers always have a little competition when it comes to girls?
oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. They
Yeah.
always fight for the same toy when they're babies.
Exactly.
They always have to
Exactly.
have what the other one wants.
Right. Right. I guess
Mhm,
that's true with friends too. You know what I mean? I guess that's true with anything that's wanted or
mhm,
coveted. People want it too. It's scarcity, it's
mhm,
competition, it's
mhm.
ego. All of that comes into play,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Ego is
Yeah.
a big thing too. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we're
And
looking forward to what were we going to say?
I was going to say, that's how people learn to socialize
Hmm.
by being able to share or, work things out. But
Yep.
yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no, no. That was a good point. Yeah, you got to resolve all those sandbox issues before you can
Sandbox.
evolve as a person in
Yes.
this world. And Peter and Paul have quite a few issues to work out, no doubt.
Yes. Yes.
But it's very, very entertaining.
Mhm,
Quite a trio, Carla,
mhm,
Paul, and Peter. Unforgettable characters. We've been talking about a series of books today, primarily focusing on AMISS 2,
mhm,
but AMISS 3 is out, and of course, the
mhm,
original
mhm.
AMISS.
Yeah,
And soon, a forthcoming novel, AMISS 4. And
maybe.
we're looking forward to all of them written by L
Yes.
McCall. They are raw,
Yes.
emotional roller coasters of books that explore the complexities of love, loss,
Mhm.
and second chances. The artwork on those books are incredible as well. Linda, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
All right. Thank you so much. And they are available, as you said, in the links below, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, even Target, Walmart, everywhere. And the Kindle is not out yet on 3, but it will be soon, within
Okay,
a
we'll
week.
look for it when it's out. And like pretty much anywhere you
Oh,
get your books, you can get these books. The links are below this interview. You can
mhm.
also Google L McCall, a miss, boom,
And
and
then
it'll show
also,
up.
I'm sorry, there's also audiobooks out too now.
Wonderful. That's
Yeah.
great. Great.
Yeah.
That must have been fun producing those.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
fun because that was a lot of very time consuming, checking and listening and checking and correcting,
Yeah.
editing, all of that. But 3 will be out soon also. So
Yeah, that's a lot of work to
I've
do
been
an
busy.
audiobook. I've been asked to do audiobooks and I'm like, I have a
Mhm.
short attention span. I cannot read for hours and hours and hours, but
Yeah.
I'm glad you found the right actors for it and the
Mhm.
right narrator.
Well, I hope
Linda,
they'll
thank you
work
so
out.
much for joining me here today.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
I
It was a
appreciate your
pleasure to
time as
see you
well.
again. Thank
Great
you.
seeing you. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Always fun. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.